Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are here today. We are going to talk about two more things that the right wing idiots are whining about. Because right now there is so much shit going on and being released by the right wing. Like Bannon has said, flood the zone. That's more or less what they're doing. Stupid shit. Day after day after day after. Not even day after day. It's every fucking third day. A third of a day, I should say. It's ridiculous. But first, let's start off talking about how whiny, how much of little bitches they have been crying over the Superman movie. You say, oh, it's whoa. Dumb fucks. Do you not know the history of Superman? Have you not read back on what the fucking comics were? Alien lands on Earth. Quite literally, immigrant from another planet. It is the ultimate immigrant story. Wow. But there's these whiny ass little bitches on the conservative side. They're making it woke. He's always been this way. If you've ever read your Superman comics, truth, justice. That's quite literally a thing he has said. Truth, justice, and the American way. He is literally an immigrant from another planet. In the comics, he has always fought against xenophobia, against Nazis, against those who would other people. If you think he was someone who backed you, you're an idiot. You're an absolute goddamn fucking retard. He might have saved you, but he wasn't going to fucking back your evil. Fucking morons. Yeah, MAGA influencers launched a movement to boycott the new Superman movie in response to director James Gunn's proclaiming the story is inherently political. During the press tour leading up to the release, Gunn spoke at the Times of London last week in a wide-ranging conversation about his career and latest film. And in that profile piece, Gunn revealed the political undertones of this film. I mean, Superman is the story of America, an immigrant that comes from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and something we have lost. Absolutely. Interviewer added, I asked if he has considered how differently the film might play in, say, Blue State, New York, Metropolis, versus Kansas, where Kent grew up. Yes, it plays differently, Gunn admits, but it's about human kindness, and obviously there will be jerks out there who are not just kind and take it as an offense just because it's about kindness. But screw them. And of course, Fox's Laura Ingraham, moron that she is, cried, Well, Superman, another film, I won't be here. Such whiny ass fucking crybabies. Outkicks Clay Travis called Gunn an absolute moron for the comments and also claimed he would not be seeing the movie. Jackasses. This is what Superman's always been about. Even in the fucking comics. It's clear none of you know the goddamn story. You're just dumbass cocksuckers who are like, oh! Oh! I mean, that's clear as a bell. You're all fucking idiots. Yeah, got all these little whiny ass cunts crying and bitching and moaning. Oh, it's work. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, clutch my pearl. God, they're such whiny ass motherfuckers. Anyway, now that we're past the just typical bullshit that is right-wing whiny ass bitchery, let's get on talking about Alligator Alcatraz, or as it should be called, Alligator Auschwitz. First, let's talk about, from the AP, Native leaders blast the construction of Florida's Alligator Alcatraz on land they call sacred. Yeah, so number one, it's being built on land that's sacred to Native Americans, and yet we've got a concentration camp being built there by the goddamn Nazi Americans. Spokesman for Florida Division of Emergency Management, which is helping lead the project, did not respond for a request for comment. State officials have characterized the site as an ideal place to hold migrants, saying there's not much there other than pythons and alligators. Indigenous leaders dispute that and are condemning the state's plan to build what has been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, or again as it should be called, Alligator Auschwitz, on their homelands. Native Americans can trace their roots to the area back thousands of years. For generations, the sweeping wetlands of what is now South Florida have been home to native peoples who today make up the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida and the Seminole tribe of Florida, as well as the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, which you have that Seminole tribe of Florida and Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, because of course we got Trail of Tears where they tried to lead most native tribes over into Oklahoma. The same as with the Cherokee. You've got the Cherokee band of Native Americans in western North Carolina, and the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. So yeah. Rather than Miccosukee homelands being an uninhabited wasteland for alligators and pythons, as some have suggested, the Big Cypress is the tribe's traditional homeland. lands. The landscape has protected the Miccosukee and Seminole people for generations. Miccosukee Chairman Talbert Cypress wrote in his statement on social media, "There are 15 remaining traditional Miccosukee and Seminole villages in Big Cypress, as well as ceremonial and burial grounds, and other gathering sites." Cypress testified before Congress in 2024. "We live here. Our ancestors fought and died here. They were buried here. The Big Cypress is part of us, and we are part of it." Garrett Stewart, who lives about 3 miles from the site, described the crystal clear waters, open prairies, and lush tree islands of Big Cypress as teeming with life. Hearing the arguments of the frogs in the water, and listen to the grunt of the alligator, you're hearing the call of the osprey flying by and listening to crows chatting. It's all just incredible. Critics have condemned the detention facility on what they call the state's apparent reliance on alligators as a security measure, as a cruel spectacle, while DeSantis and other state officials have defended it as part of Florida's muscular efforts to carry out Trump's immigration crackdown. To have alligators and pythons to be security guards, only someone who's never spent time in the swamp would ever say something like that. They're afraid of human beings. Yeah, let's be honest. Most animals, they don't want to mess with people. Alligators, pythons, same way. Pythons ain't going to go after a full-grown person. Say, "Yummy, this is a good meal." No. When they can get smaller prey to subsist off of, they ain't going after people. And then alligators, yeah, they're not going to really mess with people if they can help it. Yes, they're scary. You might have some rogue ones, but the fact is, no. They aren't going to bother people. It's like any other animal. Bear. Most bears ain't going to bother you. You get up into the bigger bears, they're going to have less fear. Black bears are more or less cuddly little cute things. I don't mean go up and hug one, but still. Grizzly bears, brown bears, yeah, they're a little less scared, but again, they don't specifically go after people. National Guard is preparing to send up to 100 soldiers to the facility on July 1st to provide site security and staff augmentation and other support as directed. Yeah, but even from start of construction, bullshit that the Trump administration's been pulling. It should never have been put on this land. And yes, technically it was Florida. So yeah, DeSantis administration's been pulling, but still, bullshit. We didn't need a goddamn concentration camp in fucking Florida. We don't need concentration camps, period. only these racist cocksuckers who are crying, "We're being invaded," by people whose lives have been put in struggling situations because of America's fingers in South and Central America for, what, 150 years now? Yeah, 150 years, because we took a big portion of Mexico away from Mexico in the Mexican-American War in the 1840s. Our fingers have been planted in South and Central America for the longest fucking time. And a lot of the bullshit that these people are fleeing from when they immigrate here is our fucking fault. But no, dumbasses don't want to fucking consider that shit. Anyway, then this is a more recent. Really, I don't need your little video playing up here. Florida Dems slam sanitized tour of Alligator Alcatraz. The Miami-Dade mayor told no access. So yeah, like in New Jersey, when you had congressional Democrats and even Newark, New Jersey's mayor try to inspect that detention facility, that concentration camp, fucking bitch ass Republicans say, nah, you don't need to see it. If they're in Congress, it is part of their fucking right and job to do so. You fucking Nazi fucks. Florida Democratic lawmakers are criticizing what they call a sanitized tour of Alligator Auschwitz immigration detention facility planned by DeSantis administration for the weekend, accusing the state of trying to preempt their oversight efforts. The Florida Division of Emergency Management has invited members of Congress and state legislators to a scheduled 90-minute tour of the controversial detention site on Saturday afternoon. U.S. Representatives Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Lois Frankel, Darren Soto, Maxwell Frost, and Jared Moskowitz, all Florida representatives, issued a joint statement Wednesday in response to the invitation. As members of Congress, we were planning an unannounced oversight visit of this Everglades detention facility. Today, we received notice from the state announcing its own planned tour at the same time, on the same day. We do not need permission to conduct lawful oversight. Levine Cava gets no answer, no access to, or gets their answer, no access to Alligator Auschwitz. Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava has received a blunt response to a request for access to Alligator Alcatraz, or Alligator Auschwitz. No! Florida Attorney General's Chief of Staff and Community Director James Uthmeyer responds to the mayor's request on social media platform formerly Twitter with a two-part post. No, and no. Any other questions? The response came after Levine Cava sent a letter to the Attorney General asking for scheduled site visits, weekly reports, and remote video monitoring access to the Everglades facility. In the statement to CBS News Miami, Levine Cava's office said the mayor had a brief conversation with the Attorney General on Wednesday and plans to follow up on her request directly with the Florida Division of Emergency Management, which operates the facility. Lawmakers call planned visit not real oversight. Democrats allege the state-led tour is designed to avoid scrutiny over conditions at the facility, which has sparked criticism over alleged mistreatment of detainees and environmental risks. This sanitized tour is not real oversight. We expect ICE and FDM will try to paper over the inhumane treatment of detained people with a limited scrub visit and rehearsed answers. The lawmakers said they still plan to attend Saturday's tour, but intend to return for an unannounced inspection. Given reports of horrific living conditions, rampant denial of due process, the risk of death and destruction from a hurricane, plus irreversible damage to the Everglades and tribal lands, we will attend this scripted tour to see the conditions and speak to detainees and guards. We will also return unannounced to conduct real oversight as the law allows and the American people demand. So yeah. Again, more right-wing bullshit. But, from the nation, the abominable sadism of Alligator Auschwitz. Slated to open this week, Florida's new detention center will have more than a little in common with a Nazi concentration camp. Abso-fucking-lutely. Floridians know what it's like to wait weeks or months for government aid after a natural disaster, but amazingly, Governor DeSantis has worked with federal officials to create a harsh outdoor tent-based detention facility in the Everglades that state officials are proudly calling Alligator Alcatraz. They will probably finish this concentration camp for 3,000 detained immigrants, complete with showers, this week. It's expected to cost about $450 million a year and will be funded using FEMA funds. You know, the stuff that's supposed to be there for natural disasters. Within hours, the first news reports, folks at Blue Sky were calling it Alligator Auschwitz. We shouldn't minimize the cruelty of a Nazi death camp. But the two have more than a little in common. The people who wind up there will be mainly chosen by ethnicity and almost certainly be convicted of no crime, as the Jewish people were by the Nazis. The lawmakers' goal is not merely confinement but suffering, as was World War II's the Holocaust. At least the poor souls who wound up in Alcatraz, California's infamous island prison, got due process. Abso-fucking-lutely. They were deterred from escaping by freezing cold waters and the rumor of sharks. These prisoners will be in mosquito-infested swampland surrounded by alligators and pythons. So, even more so than the alligators and pythons, yeah, the mosquito-infested swampland, that threat of disease and contagion spreading. Fuck you, cocksucker Republicans. Trump wanted to reopen Alcatraz, which was transformed from a prison to a museum about 40 years ago. Now he's getting his own version. But Republicans are bragging about their cruel ingenuity and using it as a fundraising tool. The Florida Republican Party is selling Alligator Alcatraz swag. I'm not linking, trust me. The camp without air conditioning is expected to open this week at temperatures top 100 degrees. Americans gathered to celebrate their freedom on July 4th can be proud that alligators in the environmentally protected Florida Everglades are keeping them safe, along with roughly 100 Florida National Guard troops, and that number will climb. Fucking sick. Progressive Florida Representative Maxwell Frost has denounced it as a cruel spectacle. This kind of performative fascist cruelty is not new or unique to the reign of Donald Trump. Remember Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who built tent prisons in the blazing desert heat and made the male inmates wear pink underwear, a nice emasculating touch? Arpaio immediately endorsed Trump back in 2015, but MAGA Republicans have perfected the art of cruel spectacle. Migrant children ripped from their parents and living in cages, toddlers wandering alone, crying for their mothers in Trump's first term. More recently, the very public humiliation of detained Central and South American men, chained and crouching as their heads were shaved in a notoriously cruel Salvadoran prison, then posed shirtless, stacked upon one another for a photo op with Homeland Security Secretary Christy Cruella Nome. It was a cruelty porn. Alligator Auschwitz, though, might be a new apex of public sadism. I assume we'll see Nome there too, and maybe the Secretary of Sadism, Stephen Miller. That fucking evil cock-sucking son of a bitch. That motherfucker. I don't even call him human. He's evil. Miller seems to be a driving force behind the very public kidnappings of mothers and fathers torn from their children by masked men claiming to be ICE and other scenes of desolation. A once bustling taco truck abandoned its food rotting in the Los Angeles sun. Empty agricultural fields in California's Central Valley. Crops there rotting too. In the fields, I would say 70% of the workers are gone, a sixth-generation Ventura County farmer told Reuters. If 70% of your workforce doesn't show up, 70% of your crop doesn't get picked and can go bad in one day. Yeah. So this is going to have economic ramifications for the fucking country because of these racist motherfuckers. These xenophobic fart sniffers. All of this is likely to get worse. Broken families, rotting food, deliberate public spectacles of cruelty. Convicted January 6th seditionist and Proud Boys founder Enrique Tarrio has named himself the Ice Raid Czar and called out to enlist his members to assist in deportations. Anyway, yeah, it just evidence of the evil that is the Republicans. And then we've got from Los Angeles Times, letters to the editor. Is this what we've become? Readers bemoan Florida's Alligator Alcatraz. But yeah, to the editor. Here's another one. Let's read this small one here. As a daughter of a Holocaust survivor, it is horrifying to see the concentration camps that the current administration is setting up with wild abandon and then mocking those sent there by saying they shouldn't run in a straight line in order to avoid an alligator. Truly, is this what we've become? Another letter. When I saw the picture of the metal bunks in tears, my thought was Alligator Auschwitz. not Alcatraz. I find this so horrific I cannot even find words for it. It is beyond disgusting. Trump said he was going to get rid of dangerous criminals, murderers, and rapists, but is instead going after people who never did anyone any harm. Their only sin was coming here illegally many years ago. Some were brought here by parents fleeing violence in their own country. Again, something I may point out is due to our fucking meddling, wanting a better life for their children. Many have worked and paid taxes to the U.S. government. Some are married to American citizens. They are now called detainees and will be housed in a nightmare of prison until they are deported. How did our country sink so low? And another one. At my nearby park, there is a hope and healing meditation path that includes benches with encouraging messages. One of these words about compassion has words about compassion. You can never really know what someone is going through. However, we can listen with our hearts and be open to the depths of others' pain. That message caught my attention during my walk because I had just seen the President of the U.S. joking about people trying to outrun alligators at his new detention facility in Florida. Trump tours Florida immigration lockup and jokes about escapees having to run from alligators. I've seen one commentator describe Alligator Alcatraz as performance cruelty. Clearly, the president missed a recent LA Times op-ed with the headline, "In an era that celebrates cruelty, embrace subversive kindness." Clearly, he hasn't seen the message about compassion on our park bench in Corona. And sadly, his habit of making cruel remarks and his lack of compassion has spread to many in his administration and beyond. So yeah. These are some letters to the editor from actual people who are disgusted by Alligator Alcatraz and the right wing's fucking evil. But with that, we'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting these links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.